Splash Mountain has closed a couple months ago at Walt Disney World and only about a week ago at Disneyland Park. And I guess now Disney's gonna move forward with this Tiana thing. I'll post the links on my videos on my vlog and my final thoughts on Splash Mountain right here. But I want to do a follow up because this is gonna be a follow up with the transitioning to what they want to do with the Tiana ride and how the Tiana Bayou's adventure, Blue Bayou adventure, actually is very problematic. And as someone that has seen Song of the South recently, you know, to do my homework on what is happening with Splash Mountain and everything like that, I can tell you that Song of the South is not anything what a lot of these small minority of angry people on the internet are saying that it is. That, you know, it has like these racist things in it or whatever. It is actually a very wholesome movie that is based on African folk tales, folklore mythology, that has very good life lessons that are based on these characters of Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Bear, and told by Uncle Remus in this movie, and passing it on to youth and young kids in the movie. And it goes into like this world where the characters live and everything like that. It is set in Reconstruction area after the Civil War, and that's about where it is. And we know after the Civil War, you know, the slavery was abolished and everything like that. So there is no depiction of slavery in it. So it's a little summary on the Song of the South. It goes a little bit more deeper than that. As far as what people think there are issues, I think they need to read the Brer Rabbit folklore mythology a little bit more to understand what is going on there, because a lot of people pick up just what's it called, stereotypes or things like that from the movie, when in fact those things have been in the Brer Rabbit folklore mythology for a very long time. So in the case of the Tiana ride, there is already problematic issues here, and there's plenty of articles and other content creators that have reacted to it. So let's check out some of the backstory here for the Tiana adventure and what issues it already has in terms of the setting and the environment that it is taking place. So this is supposed to be like an original story. It's not based on the movie. What the article is saying here and giving light to is that Tiana has purchased an abandoned mine at a salt dome to establish the headquarters for her next venture. And I guess that explains the mountain where the log for this rethemed ride is going to take place. It's going to be a salt dome. She's going to buy a salt mine. So it continues here, Tiana's Foods, which provides opportunities to her community members for employment and to learn business skills. So, you know, I guess she's supposed to be some kind of philanthropist, entrepreneur, and kind of just, you know, help the community and so forth. It's kind of diverting a lot from what the original movie was, and they're kind of changing her story now. And it seems that in the movie, from what I heard, that she wanted one thing, and now Disney with this ride, they're making her want something else. They're making her like really overly ambitious, wanting more than what she really wanted in that movie. And it might be just too much. Like they didn't keep it simple, and they're actually kind of shooting themselves in the foot by setting it in the salt dome and salt mine. I'll tell you right now. So the salt domes and the salt mines were this kind of environment back in the Civil War times, almost this concentration camp type of environment where the slaves were taken to work under the what's it called, the Southern government back then in the Confederacy. And that alone is already, in my opinion, an issue. There's just so much to delve into here, but that alone tells you right there. So basically what Disney wants to do is that they want to have Tiana buy a location, a mine that was worked by slaves, and then help out her community with work skills or something like that. All of this just sounds just very bad. And they're the ones that wanted to close Splash Mountain because of supposed controversial issues that it had in its past, somewhere in that movie or whatever. And now they're actually doing something that's probably a lot worse. In this article from that park place, they talk about this issue with the salt mine and the retheming to the Tiana ride, and how the history of like the story behind this ride is just very problematic. They're saying they're actually doing to Splash Mountain what we thought was surely too awful to happen. Tiana's Bayou adventure is indeed based on the Avery Island Salt Dome in Louisiana, a geographical feature that is nothing like a mountain or even a hill. Worse, Avery Island has a deep history with slavery. So there you go. This is what Disney is changing Splash Mountain to. And I don't think they needed to go through all this trouble in closing a ride that with the history that they didn't understand, a movie that they didn't understand, and a cause that they probably fully didn't understand either, to change it to something that they also didn't understand. So in other words, they just don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They bent the knee and they decided to listen to a couple of social justice people online, a small minority of angry people online during a year 2020 that had a lot of problems in that time, socially, and with people just wanting to take control of like people's opinions and wanted to control things on the internet and everything like that, and push forward these social things that were just fabricated for nonsensical things that in 2023 today, it's like, who cares? Nobody cares about those issues anymore. And they're moving forward. They have moved forward because they already closed the rides here in the US. They have moved forward, and they're going to move forward with the Tiana ride. And I think that the only thing that's going to save this ride is if they keep the same thrill factor, if they have really good animatronics, if the ride is still fun, and probably most importantly is if the music and the story of the ride is really good, and if they don't start banging social messages or anything like that while you're on this fun ride. The entertainment factor for this ride has to be top notch. But I really, with the climate and with the all the stuff and the problems and things that the Disney company has had recently, I don't think that they have it in them to really create something as magical and as long lasting and remembered as Splash Mountain and its ride and the story of Brer Rabbit, because that was actually based on a folklore mythology. And closing that ride for something, for like a princess character in a ride, you're downgrading the value of it, and even the cultural value of an attraction in your park. And when Walt Disney built his park, he had a lot of good idealistic American things in it that were very rooted in American culture and in other people's culture as well. And Disney himself went out of the way to make that movie because he recognized the importance of that African folklore culture and the stories, most importantly the stories and the life lessons that those stories had towards youth and people that were relevant for any time and all times. And that's really what matters, is the life lessons that those stories of Brer Rabbit and his characters and Uncle Remus had for youth and people and for generations. In the case with the Princess Tiana, like, what are they gonna do? What everlasting values and things are there in her story, in this new story for the ride? Like I said, I have not seen the movie. I'm gonna have to do my homework and watch Princess and the Frog. There's probably a good message about, you know, achieving your dreams and goals and overcoming adversity and things like that. But they're completely even ignoring that movie, and they're saying, you know what, now Tiana is even more ambitious, and she's gonna go buy a salt mine, a salt dome where slaves worked, and make that her living and her legacy. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Disney doesn't even, like I said, know what they're doing. So we'll see how it turns out with this ride, and I'll keep bringing you updates on the Tiana ride and anything that may come up that may just be kind of just them tripping over themselves in the process of making this ride, because it's a very big, they have some big shoes to fill in with Splash Mountain. That's gonna do it for the video. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button if you like this video. In the meantime, I'll see you guys next time.